Hello there, this is Will Woodgate from Theme Flood and Stacks for Stacks, and today I'm putting together a short video for you all about the brand new Photo Album Pro stack element. This is a brand new stack element which I've been developing in partnership with Greg of Chili Dog Software. Greg has done a lot of the sort of manual and very difficult coding behind the scenes, and I've been focusing on the user interface, the settings and the support documentation for this new stack element. Photo Album Pro is now available to purchase through Greg's website, which is chiliDogSoftware.com. Photo Album Pro is built on the popular Mono Slideshow plugin. Certainly if you've got any sort of WordPress background, you may well have heard of Mono Slideshow in the past. Mono Slideshow is one of the most popular WordPress plugins available for creating beautiful slideshows with. What we've been able to do is secure a special license from the original developer of Mono Slideshow, which has enabled us to rebundle it in the format of a stack element, which you can then take and reuse in RapidWeaver. Photo Album Pro works in both fixed width and responsive setups. It's standalone, it's got no dependencies on any external websites or services. So to prove that, what I can do is if I just switch RapidWeaver to edit mode and turn off my Wi-Fi here, the menu like so, and then when I go and preview the page now, what we'll see is the slideshow is still functioning completely fine, no problems whatsoever. So this means you'd be able to use Photo Album Pro offline on a website, such as behind a firewall or a company intranet, something like that. You could create a website which you could burn onto a CD and pass on to a client or whatever, and they'd still be able to view the slideshow even without an internet connection. So it's very nice and safe and reliable from that perspective. Photo Album Pro has a great many customisable settings. Again, if I switch across into edit mode here, you can see all the settings listed down here on the right hand side, and a little later on in this video we'll go into detail about what some of these settings do. It's very easy to get Photo Album Pro set up and working. Basically you just drag and drop a Photo Album Pro stack into your website and then go ahead and drag and drop your images into each of the slides. Very simple to set up, certainly no code involved. The settings are pretty easy to use. If you roll your mouse over the settings, then you get nice little informational tooltips telling you what each setting does. So there's very little to go wrong. It's a nice straightforward stack element to use. And certainly if you are already using the Photo Album page style that is supplied with RapidWeaver, the Photo Album Pro stack is a very nice upgrade. It provides a lot more customisable settings to control how your finished slideshow will look and function. Photo Album Pro is fully responsive, as you would expect of a modern day stack element, but equally so you can use it in a fixed width RapidWeaver theme without any problem. At the moment, for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm using it in my Flood RapidWeaver theme, which as you know is responsive, but equally so it will work in most older RapidWeaver themes which are of a fixed width. It has swipe support as well, which is a major bonus if you are building websites which typically are receiving a lot more traffic from mobile and tablet devices. Touch support, I should say the swipe support, does work on the desktop version as well. It's not always too reliable, but if I roll my mouse over and click and drag, you can see how I can sort of advance onto the next slide. Like I say, it's not too good on desktop computers, but it works absolutely perfectly on touch devices like the iPhone, the iPod Touch, the iPad, and a variety of Android devices too. We've got very high quality animation effects, as you can see on the screen in front of me now. These are, almost of video quality, there's no doubt about that. Lovely, smooth, silky transitions. Both, got the transitions between each slide, and you've also got this nice Ken Burns effect you can turn on, where you get the simultaneous panning and zooming effect on photographs as well. And we've got support so far for 25 images, which again I've mentioned you can drag and drop straight into the stack without any problem at all. There's certainly a lot of scope to further expand Photo Album Pro, and I have no doubt at all that new features and extra bits and pieces will be added over time, and all the minor updates are going to be completely free of charge for existing users. As per normal, you just open up the stack elements library up here, and any updates listed will be shown with a little red exclamation mark. You just go ahead and install those updates. So that's enough sort of chatter about what the Photo Album Pro stack can do. What I'm going to do now is to actually go ahead and show you how I got this particular slideshow set up and working like you see on the screen now in front of us. Lots of different options available, as you can see. We've got the thumbnails we can open. You can jump between specific images, and we've got the navigation, backwards and forwards between images. Titles and captions are fully customizable, so I'll go ahead now and show you how to change any of these aspects. So as mentioned already, building a new slideshow with Photo Album Pro is pretty straightforward and easy to do. What I've done in this example is just to create a brand new RapidWeaver project file, which I've named Photo Album Pro. I'm using my Flood RapidWeaver theme for this example today, because Flood is a nice simple theme. It lends itself very well towards photography portfolios and such like. So I've just gone ahead and added a brand new stacks page. I'm using stacks 2.6. As per normal, you just get the normal drop stacks here prompt when you add a new stacks page. I'm just going to go ahead and search for Photo Album Pro stack. There it is. So just click and drag that straight across into your page like so. Immediately you're presented with a series of grey boxes. Each of these grey boxes is a single slide in your slideshow. Each slide comprises of an image and caption content. All your settings, as per normal, are over here on the right hand side for Photo Album Pro. You can toggle open and close these groups if you need to, that's not a problem. And Photo Album Pro does come with some sample images which you can play around with and experiment with. And to access those, you just click up here in the toolbar and open the Stacks Media Library. And in here you'll find a section marked Photo Album Pro Example Images. I'm just going to go ahead and drag images into my page like so. Ordinarily, you can use images which are already stored on your computer, such as in an iPhoto library, or perhaps some images you've already prepared for the internet. So at the moment we've got 3 placeholders, but we can actually increase the number fairly easily just by selecting the Photo Album Pro stack. And over here on the right hand side, where we've got the slides set in, we can just up the number. So I'm just going to change that to 6 like so. So that will give us a few more placeholders for images to go into. So I'll just carry on dragging and dropping some images in like so. Image formats, best to use either JPEG or PNG. Normally JPEG is more than sufficient because you're not really dealing with any sort of transparency or alpha channels, so JPEG is fine for most purposes. 72 DPI is ideal. You wouldn't really want to change any of that, the level of DPI. And it's best to also have images which are scaled already to the correct size, and I'd recommend putting all your JPEG images through a free tool called Image Optim, which will strip out any surplus metadata and reduce the file sizes slightly more. So once you've gone ahead and put in in this instance we've put in 6 images into this slideshow, what you'll need to do is to double click each image and to turn off the image constraints. And this can be done over here on this side and the right hand side, and you just untick the constrain width and constrain height settings. And what you probably saw then is how the image seemed to jump forward when the constraints were taken off. The next thing you'll need to do for each image is to give it a unique file name and an alt tag. File name can be anything you like, so in this instance I'm just going to type country house like so. And the alt tag, again, it can be the same if you want, country house. The file name, as the name suggests, is used to actually label the file. Generally when I'm building websites I put everything to lowercase and I replace any sort of spaces with hyphens, so that's what I'll just go ahead and do now, like so. Just keeps things nice and tidy. Search engines will sometimes use file names to get a better idea about what an image might be about, so it's wise to go ahead and change file names. The alt tag can be normal mixed case lettering, you can have spaces, and a certain number of special characters are permitted as well. The alt attribute basically gives a web browser or search engine more information about the image itself, but in the case of a Photo Album Pro slideshow stack we actually use the alt attribute as the title of the image. That way, instead of using a normal title attribute, we can avoid ugly tooltips when you roll your mouse cursor over the slideshow. So what you want to do now is to go ahead and repeat the same for all your images in the slideshow. Every time you've edited the settings, just click up here the top left hand side on the blue done button, and that will lock those changes in place. And as you can see in this example, the image I've added up here is now wider than the other images in the slideshow. So you want to repeat the steps. The captions, you're more than welcome to come in and change the captions. You just double click on the box like so, and you can replace the caption with your own content. Image caption goes here like so. Very simple to do. I'd recommend just using plain text. Don't sort of get bogged down with any HTML markup, things like that, because that might complicate matters somewhat. So just plain text is ideal for this. Okay then, so I've just gone through the slideshow. I've edited all the images to give them proper titles and alt attributes. I've switched off the width and height constraints. And instantly, if I go ahead now and preview my page, what we should find is we've got the slideshow working as it is, the basic default settings. And already it's looking really smart. We've got this nice smooth transition between each slide, and we're being transitioned through all the slides in the order which we put them into the page. So that's all working very nicely so far, but what I'm going to do now is to go ahead and customize a few aspects of the slideshow to make it a bit more unique for this project. So switching back into Stacks edit mode, we've already covered the slide number setting up here, and I've explained that we can go up to a maximum of 25 slides. We've got the option to change the fill colour if required behind the slideshow. That might be necessary if you're using images of a different size. The Photo Album Pro stack is fully responsive. In here you can customise the height of the slideshow depending on how wide the screen is that's viewing the slideshow. You can easily turn responsive support off and go for a fixed width if you want. I think a lot of people nowadays would probably lean towards the responsive mode because that gives you the best possible compatibility with a wide range of different devices and screen sizes. Photo Album Pro has full swipe support. Swipe support is enabled by default, and actually if I go across to preview and just show you quickly, you can with your mouse cursor click and drag the images like so and navigate your way through the slideshow this way. It's not always particularly quite so smooth as you can see on a computer. It's a bit difficult to click and drag. There it goes, it's going now. But certainly on a touch-based device like an iPod Touch, an iPhone, an iPad, the swipe support works perfectly. It's really nice, very nice feature on this slideshow. So we'll leave the swipe support settings as they are in edit mode. Swipe direction you could change if you want between either horizontal or vertical. We'll leave it as horizontal. The animation effect can be customised of Photo Album Pro. We have two animation types specified. We start with what I would term as the fancy effects. There's a lot of different effects you can choose from here. Naturally, some of these effects won't work in older web browsers, and some web browsers might have problems supporting these depending on what sort of hardware acceleration is available and things like that. So by all means go ahead and apply a really nice fancy slideshow effect, but there's no guarantees the first one will work. And for that reason we've provided the fallback type, and this is just a basic selection of transitional effects. We've got blend, flash, pivot, push and stack available, so if the first effect doesn't work, the second one almost certainly will work. That way you're providing sort of a safety net for web browsers without support for the extra flashy transitional effects. The slide direction can be changed. We'll just leave this as left to right for now. So too can the ease and effect. You can customise the actual transition delay between each slide. The default is 3 seconds. We'll probably leave that as it is for now. Photo Album Pro also supports the Ken Burns animation effect. That's where you can apply a sort of subtle panning effect and also zoom in or zoom out of an image simultaneously. There's a number of different types available. In this example I'm just going to change it to random zoom and pan, and I'm just going to put the amount up to 20% like so. Timing can be left as it is. Captions, as you've seen already, are displayed at the top left hand corner of the slideshow by default. You can have the captions that they only display when you mouse over the slideshow, although nowadays that's not quite such a wise thing to do because there's so many web browsers around now which are relying on touch screens and touch devices, things like that. which can prove a bit difficult and people might miss your captions. So I tend to either leave it as always display for captions, or we can permanently turn off the captions if we want to. That's completely safe to do. But the choice is yours. You can go ahead and you can customize this however you want. As you'd expect, you can customize the style of the captions. We can change things like the opacity, the radius, fill type, the colors. We can customize the position about where where the caption should appear on the slideshow. Text alignment. There's a lot of different options available, so feel free to come in and play around with it yourself. And likewise, the Photo Album Pro controller, we can change the position of this. By default it's always at the bottom center, but we could be different and we could say we want it at the bottom right instead, so I'm just going to change that. Okay then, so at this stage I'm quite happy with all the settings I've made, so I'm just going to save my changes here in RapidWeaver, and I'll go ahead and preview the slideshow now and check that it's all working the way I want it to. So just click the preview button up here in the RapidWeaver toolbar, and as you can see it seems to be working fine. I'll just open the thumbnails just to confirm. So all the images are loading without any problem. I can click and navigate to specific images. We've got that nice Ken Burns effect happening, which is where the image is simultaneously sort of panning around and zooming at the same time. We've got the cube transitional effect working, and altogether it's looking really nice at this stage. As you can see, I've got the new image titles displaying at the top, so that's not a problem. So at this point I'll probably go ahead now and publish this page online, and it'll be available for the rest of the world to view. So I hope this video has been of use to you anyway. The Photo Album Pro Stack is available to purchase through the Chili Dog software website, and you can also find links and additional information and such like on the website there as well. Knowledge-based articles, things like that, so you can get more information about how to actually work with the slideshow and set it up and get some really good results of it. Like I said at the start of the video, it's definitely a slideshow plugin I recommend. It's definitely one of the best ones available to date. A lot of features, a lot of functionality, works really nicely, provides a lovely way for people to navigate through a set of photographs on your website. Use it in all sorts of different websites, be it e-commerce, education, real estate, holidays, vacations, anything like that. It's got endless possibilities and uses. So definitely a stack I'd recommend you investigate further, and if you do like it then go ahead and purchase it. That's all for today, and I look forward to chatting with you again soon.